Hey, everybody, and welcome to Check Rock, the podcast about basketball and basketball-related topics because we're going to talk about some other shit randomly every now and then. I am Sean, one of your gracious, grateful, and very handsome hosts. Over there is Marquise, just Marquise. And he is also a host, I guess. We are just some context because this is the first episode. Yay! Hand clap. Yay! Marquise, add applause in that later. All right, cool. Thanks.
Oh my god.
So this is the first episode of a brand new podcast that we are starting in the wake of an old podcast that is now dead, so we will not speak of it anymore. But we are both from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are 76ers fans. Fuck you if you're from Boston. Not if you're from Boston. If you're a Celtics fan.
If you're a Celtics fan, fuck you. But only if you're a Celtics fan. Like
if you're from Boston but you like the Knicks, that's weird, but you're cool.
Like, yeah, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Also, only if the Sixers play the Celtics, it's fuck you. But when you guys play somebody else, cool. It's all right.
Actually, yeah. When you're playing like the Bucks,
yeah, whoop the Bucks ass. Like beat their ass for us. You know, because we're not, because we're fucking
right.
Bummed.
And you're gonna help us get to second place.
Let's hop it right into it, man.
Let's do that. Joel Embiid blew out his knee.
I was gonna set it up. Up properly.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We are once again.
Fucked.
We're fucked.
Oh, sorry.
Can you stop, dude?
Sorry.
What the fuck?
Sorry. Go ahead.
We are unfortunately Sixers fans, and Joel Embiid tweaked his knee. We gotta get the whole thing behind it, Sean. You gotta get the whole thing behind it.
Right.
Joel Embiid tweaked his knee in Indiana in the game versus the Pacers, where we got our ass whooped, and then he ended up missing the Denver Nuggets. Oh God, the Denver Nuggets game. And
what were you about to say?
I don't know.
You about to say a different N word there.
Hey! I can say it. I'm black. We're black, by the way. So if we slip up,
yeah. If you're just listening to this, we are black.
We're very much
full-blooded African Americans.
Matter of fact, if you listen to this, come over to the YouTube page. Check Rock. Yeah.
Yes.
Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok at Check Rock Pod. I did all this stuff. We are everywhere. I mean, if you're listening to this, you found it. You're a weirdo. We're everywhere, everywhere. Like some sites I didn't even know did podcasts.
Yep. Dark web.
Like Deezer and there's something
Pornhub.
else. Yeah. Fuck it. We'll put it on Pornhub.
We should. That'd be cool.
Bro. That's crazy marketing. It's crazy marketing. Like we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pornhub, but. Yep. What was the last one? What was that last one?
We're trying to turn Pornhub just into no rules YouTube.
Right. Let's just do it.
Like, you can still watch other stuff, but there's just also porn.
Recommend it after our video goes off. Step Brother.
Yeah.
From sports to. I'm trying to help Step Brother clean his jersey. Like I don't.
And get stuck in the washer. Oh my! All right.
This is amazing.
As you can see, we're just trying to cope with the fact that our favorite player is not going to win.
So Joel Embiid injured last night. Played against the Golden State Warriors. Was obviously injured going into it. You've seen it throughout the game. And then there was a play in the fourth quarter where he lost the ball, dives for the ball, and I believe it was Jonathan Kuminga who falls on his knee, the knee that he previously injured in the Pacer game. And so he was recently, per Chris Haynes, was sent back to Philadelphia. You know, he's back in Philly to get an MRI and to get further examination to see exactly what's wrong. Fortunately, it wasn't a re-injure of the injury he had prior, but unfortunately, they believe it's a new injury. So him having two injuries in the same leg does not really bode well for us. And for us, it's kind of shitty situation because we've lost 4 straight games, and now we went from being the 3rd seed and we're now the 5th seed behind New York and Cleveland. So with this coming up and everything that's happening is like deadline is in 9 days. We're recording this on the 31st. Deadline's on the 8th. So it's like, does this affect what we do with the deadline? with the
I
with
think it does. I think it does. I think as of right now, with the star player being out, the thing that's going to really get you through is depth. And with the emergence of Paul Reed, 30 points against Denver, we still lost, but he had a good game. I think, when Mo Bamba comes back, you're going to have enough depth to at least ensure that you beat the bad teams.
right.
So I don't think we fall too far in the standings without Joel. And then, of course, we have the All-Star break coming up. So,
Which
he'll have enough time to hopefully rest depending on what the injury is and come back, towards the, we'll say, last quarter of the season and be like, playoff ready or close to playoff ready. So that way, if we need to make a push for a higher, seed, then we
yeah.
can do that.
Obviously, this is all depending on what the injury is, and
Yeah.
how severe it is. And from like how they're talking about it, it's not saying it like it's too severe. Like he's not gonna miss like 3 months for this. It's not like anything torn or anything like that. It's more maybe a sprain or a hyperextension, which is like the best thing that we can like root for. It's crazy, but like to
Hope for.
hope for, yeah, because he's a big guy running up and down the court. We need him for the playoff time, and you know it's it's coming faster than we think. And stop, Sean.
I didn't say anything.
I knew it.
I
Once
didn't
I
say
said it,
anything.
I just
I
knew
didn't
it.
say anything.
I
I
knew you
didn't
were
say
going to do
anything yet.
this.
I didn't say anything yet.
All Star break is coming. Stop. Stop.
I didn't say anything. I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm just listening to you talk.
And you brought up.
Listening to you talk about coming.
Oh God. So you brought up that this might change it. I believe it does change it a little bit. Especially depending. Obviously, we don't know exactly what's wrong, but I think you go get another big man. And I don't think Paul Reed is the option. I don't think Mo Bamba is the option. I feel like if you put Mo Bamba and Paul Reed together, they make a full player. I feel like Paul
Wait a
Reed
minute.
is
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The guy who just had 30 points against the reigning champions is not a full player on his own.
it's against Jokic. Jokic doesn't really play defense.
They won the championship, though. You would still expect the team to be good enough to not let Paul Reed get 30.
I mean that is true. That is very much true. But like he scored 30 in the next like 5 games, he's going to score like 5.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And right now with the situation of Joel potentially missing, significant time,
Yeah.
who I think the Sixers should go after, who we never really got to see in the playoffs, is Andre Drummond. I think Andre Drummond not only helps us on the rebounding, which we lack, especially with Robert Covington out, DeAnthony Melton's out, Tyrese Maxey's questionable with his ankle, Nicholas Batum.
And Mo is out, right?
I think Mo
Am
is
I
also
correct?
out. Yeah, he's also out. So we're in a situation like I feel like it happens every year where we stumble into All-Star break and then we get like refreshed and then we go on a run. So I'm hoping like Joel sits out the All-Star game. Cool, you're All-Star, whatever. Sits out the All-Star game, gets healthy. We need him for the back half, and right now we also need him for seeding. This has never been a problem for us in the last couple years. Obviously, other than that Al Horford year, where we were like the 6th seed, we never really had problems.
We were 5th.
No, we were 6th because it was the 3-6 matchup of us in Boston.
Oh yes. And what? Milwaukee was number 1.
I believe.
Wait, no, because who was number 2?
I forget who was that.
Boston was.
That was 1920, right? Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Milwaukee was number 1. Toronto was number 2. Celtics were number 3. Pacers 4. Heat 5. Us 6.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say get a backup big man. A starting backup big man. I think Paul Reed is good at stretches. Obviously, he outperformed himself in anything, career high against Jokic, but I don't expect that to be something he does often. Whereas though Drummond, I feel like a solid starter. He's a good starter at this point. Great backup big. Somebody who could give you 15 and 15. lob threat, somebody that can really pair well with Tyrese right now while we still figure it out what is happening with Joel. And
Mm-hmm.
I really think that we should go for probably another wing, maybe wing like playmaker type. And I think a
Okay.
perfect mold is probably Malcolm Brogdon, who is in the Portland Trailblazers right now. And I think those two right there can obviously when Joel gets back, adding those two with hopefully D'Anthony Melton comes back and he's healthy, Tyrese, all that, and I don't feel like to get those two, you don't have to trade a Tobias, you don't have to probably trade significant other pieces, and you add to your depth. And I think probably Marcus Morris and uh, Robert Covington are probably going to be the odd men out in terms of contracts and being able to move them. Um, but like those two added to what you already have, I feel like helps you significantly.
I think that's probably, along with Joel's injury, that's the biggest, contributor to not knowing what exactly to do come trade deadline time. Is a lot of our key bench pieces are hurt.
Yeah,
Like, we actually just got Pat Bev back, maybe like what, 3 games ago.
3 games ago, yeah, he missed it with like hamstring or something like that,
Yeah,
and then
but
Batum's hamstring, and we have an older team.
yeah, and Mo Bamba's still out. Tyrese actually sat out, I think, the last 2 games.
Yes, he has not played
Um,
the last two.
and then Covington, like, we've got several key injuries. I think people point to Joel. Obviously, that's the biggest ticket, item, but we have several key injuries right now. And I think the trade deadline talk is going to come down to, number one, are people going to want to trade for injured players? And number two, do we really want to make a huge trade, or even not even a huge trade, but any sort of, you know, big change when prior to all these injuries, we were one of the better teams in the league. So do you hold fast and just wait for everybody to come back, or do you go for like a major retool? And even if you do, are you sure you're going to be able to get good value back in return? I think in the beginning, everybody was saying like, oh, Alex Caruso or, OG Anunoby or Pascal. Obviously, two of those guys have already been moved. Caruso is still lingering. I don't think the Bulls are very high on trading Caruso. I think they would like to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Andre Drummond. So it's
I
it's
think if they're splitting up one of those guys, Andre Drummond, Sixers
yeah.
have explored trades for guys not even using their first round picks. Like the
Hmm.
Sixers trying to use all of their second round picks, and obviously
Yeah.
last year, second round picks were being thrown around like crazy, and it was getting good pieces because there's multiple second round picks, and the Sixers have picks, I believe, from the Hornets, and so that's
Yeah.
like an early second round pick.
Yeah.
So that they're trying to make moves without using their the first round picks that they acquired from the Clippers, because if they go into the offseason, those 3 first round picks turn into 5 tradable first round picks, and you could really go get somebody along with the $60+ million in cap space we're projected to have. And like
The only issue with like the cap space though is that you're relying on people wanting to come here. Not to
well,
say that they wouldn't, but I think the issue is like when you're looking at the amount of like expiring contracts that we have. Number one, there's several guys that you're probably going to want to re-sign.
all right.
This is also Tobias's last year. I don't think they're going to offer him an extension. So you're probably, if you want to keep Tobias, you're going to have to re-sign him, even if it's to less money. But still, you're not going to know exactly how much cap space you have until after all that is done, for the most part.
I mean,
So
yes, that's true, but it's also any free agent, and this is per Brian Windhorst. He basically said any free agent going into free agency is going to look at Philly because they
well, you
are
have to.
the only team with money that can win a championship or
Yeah.
has the legit pieces. Other than Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is not going to hit your affect your cap because you have his bird right. So you could go over that the cap to sign him back because you have his bird rights. I think Tobias has been helpful, and he had that little streak of games where he was like it was like, oh shit, Tobias is playing like damn, this is the guy we signed, and he played like that. But then he also has games where he has 4 points and he only takes 3 shots,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Getting somebody who right now in this system better fits what we need right now, and that's more shooters. That's more. I really like Bogdan, the Bogdanovic, both of them. The one in for the Pistons and the one in for the Hawks. Those guys, movement shooters, don't need the ball, don't need to, dribble, spot up, shoot. Both, I think, are better team defenders than they are individual defenders, and we have a team full of defensive players, so we can afford to have a guy who's probably not the best on there. Because we have sets where like Furkan Korkmaz with the injuries, Furkan Korkmaz is out there playing, and he looked like a good defender because he's out there with Patrick Beverly and D'Anthony Melton. Like we have the defensive guys to make up for somebody. So maybe even somebody like a Buddy Hield, like somebody who has gravity. Probably not the greatest player and probably not the sexiest name, but somebody has gravity. Like you can't leave him open. You can't, what I'm saying? Like those guys were added with Joel's gravity could create something for Maxey or open lane for Maxey or Tobias with a cut or Kelly Oubre with a cut. Like it opens up so much because you have so many players with gravity, and I think the Sixers have an opportunity to get multiple guys. They also have been interested in Tyus Jones from the Wizards as another backup ball handler because I would honestly want them to get a bigger guy. Like I said, a Malcolm Brogdon who's like 6'5", and so you could still play Patrick Beverly, and it would kind of be a 1-2 type situation where like Malcolm can bring up the ball, Patrick can bring up the ball. Malcolm's going to be a little bit more on the facilitating role.
I would say Malcolm's a better defender as well.
Malcolm, I want to see. I mean, Patrick Beverly be getting into motherfucker.
No, better than Tyus Jones.
Oh, Tyus Jones, yeah, definitely. I would definitely. He's just bigger body as well. Tyus Jones like 6'1". He's kind of one of those guys where like he kind of feels like he plays bigger than what he is, but he still has those lapses where it's like, oh, dude, he's 6 foot. You can't really change that. But
it's a great contest, and he just shot over him.
Right. I mean, the same thing for Patrick Beverly, but it just seems like Patrick Beverly, for his age, to slide his feet the way he does, to really knows how to defend. He finds a way.
Yeah.
And if we get more guys who can defend and shoot, those are the premium guys in the league that everybody wants. If we get those guys, then I think we're a better team just in all. Because I look at our team and I go, like, what we have, and obviously we've been injured. I go, only team I don't see us beating is Boston. Like, I feel like with Milwaukee, oh, my God, we got to get into this. With Milwaukee hiring Doc Rivers.
Yes, I feel Milwaukee Bucks have hired Doc Rivers as their head coach.
I'm sorry for anybody watching the first podcast. This first podcast is very unorganized. It's the first one. We're going to have some type of, better, placement in everything we do. But, like, right now we're kind of just spitballing. And Doc Rivers going to Milwaukee. To any Milwaukee fan out there, any Bucks fan, get ready to want to blow your fucking brains out. And I mean that with the most respect possible. I hate Doc Rivers. I hate that he is still a coach. I hate that he's still getting opportunities. And I hate that he basically...
I hate that he's still taking them.
I hate that he basically undermined a coach. Like, so the story is the Bucks were using Doc Rivers to basically asking, who would be a good coach, and Doc Rivers kind of upped Adrian Griffin and stuff like that, and they were basically using him to like, hey, what's your idea of this coach? What's your idea of this coach? And the Bucks were in communication, and it seems like Doc Rivers kind of set Adrian Griffin up for failure, and bro just took his job. Like, he set him up for failure. And took
like,
his
if
job.
the guy I recommended can't do it, then I guess I'll just have to do it.
And then came out and said, I wish this on nobody. I'm like, bro, shut up.
Then why'd you take the job?
Why did you take the job, bro? With your ashy ass voice. God damn, I hate him.
I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was. After he got fired from the Clippers, Doc Rivers swore up and down that he thought long and hard about retiring before taking the 76ers job. Then he gets fired from the Sixers, and not a full year later, has another job.
He doesn't deserve. He's not a coach in this era of basketball, bro.
Well, I would even go as far as to say, and this is something that Gilbert Arenas on his podcast, brought up. If you look at Doc Rivers' resume, he's only had one success.
Boston.
Like,
that's it.
yeah.
But I will
But
also
even then,
I will throw in this. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you get back to your stuff. He was
But-
supposed to win. He
Right.
had the only super team, and the fact that
Right.
he only won once is more of a problem than people really let on, because he has one ring, so people are like, well, he got one, but like he should have had multiple. He should have had multiple.
In Orlando, he had Tracy McGrady. Okay, this is prime Tracy McGrady.
Right.
In Boston, he gets there, and they have the super team, the only super team. They win one championship, right? They did. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't even make it to the finals the next year.
No,
Orlando did.
They lost. Yeah, they lost to Orlando in the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe.
Which was the team that Doc came from. Who now have Dwight Howard. Like, don't get me wrong. I know it was a different team than the one Doc left. It wasn't like he was there the year before and they had all the same players. But still, like, it just pisses me off because Doc Rivers literally has been, not only Doc Rivers, I shouldn't even say Doc Rivers. The entire 2008 Boston Celtics team has been riding this one championship for the rest of their careers and their lives. Bro, this 2008 Celtics talk to each other like they are the 96 or 97 Bulls.
100%. You know what's
they
crazy?
Talk like they won just so many championships. They were they had a dynasty. You won one championship. And Kevin Garnett, who was an amazing player, Paul Pierce, who was a great player, will just ride that until the end of time that they are champions for 1 year. But they went back to the finals, lost. They lost in the...
They lost before they won.
Conference finals.
They lost in 2000 and... No, you're right.
No.
They went back in 2010 and...
Yeah, and
Kobe,
lost.
Yeah, Kobe took them out.
Yeah. As soon as Kobe got another player.
Right.
Because in 2008, it was just Kobe, right? Or Kobe and Powell, but I don't think they had Lamar Odom.
Yeah, it's one of those two, give or take.
And then they make it to the conference finals, and then they lose to now, the Heatles, the Miami Heat with LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh, which obvious, right? You're not gonna beat them,
right?
Even though at that point, the Celtics still had their big four in Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. It wasn't until the next year that Ray Allen went to Miami.
Yeah, he said, "Fuck it, let me go get these rings."
And that's the thing. Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo have 2 championships. The 2 lesser players from
Ray
that
Allen has
4. 3. No, he has 2.
I thought he has 3.
He was only with the Heat for 1 year, I thought.
No, he was with the Heat for multiple years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Ray Allen has 3. And Rondo has 2. No, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett.
He was with the Heat for multiple years. He was 2 years, but he only has 1. He got there after the OKC year.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. In 2013. What was
2012.
That? 13.
Yeah, 2012, 13.
Yeah. But it's like the 2 guys who recognized, I guess, that the time was kind of up for the Celtics. Like Rondo, it wasn't exactly the same, but still, like, they have multiple championships. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett have 1.
And also, if
And
you,
they ended up getting traded away and going to Brooklyn, where they were also a part of a super team that didn't win shit.
I'm also going to say this: if there's any two teams that can talk their shit, that only won one ring, is the 2004 Pistons and the 2011 Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks. Yep. Yep.
These 2004 Pistons were basically it for kids that are watching. Basically, the Miami Heat, a group of motherfuckers, a whole bunch of misused toys threw together, and they want to imagine the Miami Heat winning a championship. That's what the Pistons were.
The Jimmy Butler Miami Heat, not the LeBron Miami
The
Heat.
Jimmy Butler, the Jimmy Butler Miami Heat. Those guys going to win a championship.
Yeah,
that's what that 2004 Pistons.
But no, but not even just that. Going and winning a championship against the prime Warriors.
Right. They went against the most
against
dominant.
If imagine if Jimmy Butler's 2020 Heat team wins a championship against the 2017 Warriors. That's what it
fully
was.
Healthy.
That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened.
Fully healthy. They went against prime Shaq and Kobe.
With Gary Payton.
Shaq and Kobe.
Gary Payton.
They had everybody.
And Karl Malone.
Everybody was on that team trying to catch a ring. Everybody was on that team. And they whooped ass. And they didn't whoop ass the traditional way about outscoring. They were locking motherfuckers up.
And they played small ball. Because Ben Wallace was so strong that he could guard Shaq, but he was so athletic that he was like just faster. Like they played small ball. It was crazy. And the Mavericks, so the 2004 Pistons have basically we'll say the bragging rights of they ended the Lakers dynasty.
100%. Just like
the 2011 Mavericks have the bragging rights of having the hardest road to a championship ever.
I mean, I would say the Pistons is the hardest championship. Why?
Because the Pistons, their playoff road didn't really get difficult until the Eastern Conference Finals when they play Indiana.
Oops. Well, yeah, okay.
Whereas the Mavericks in 2011 had to face, if I'm not mistaken, the who was it? The Thunder in the first round, then the Spurs, and then the Lakers, and then the Heat. So they had to face the defending champions, the 2010 Los Angeles Lakers, I believe the Spurs, and if I'm not mistaken, the OKC Thunder. To all eventually get to the first year of LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade and beat them.
Yeah.
Are you looking it up?
I am.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Dallas had to beat Portland.
Oh, Portland.
This is I believe Brandon Roy.
Yep, Brandon Roy and Greg Oden, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah. Then they had to beat the Lakers.
They
swept.
Yep, swept the defending champions.
And then they played Oklahoma. This is young KD. This is young Russ. This is young James Harden. Young Surge. I think Kendrick Perkins was on the team.
And the Thunder were very much emerging because they ended up making it to the finals
the next year. And then they played them, whooped their ass in 5 games.
Yep.
And then Miami Heat, the big team, the team that was going to win it, that was destined to win not 4, not 5, not 6. They whooped their ass in 6 games.
But 2.
But 2. And that's why I love Dirk. Dirk is one of my favorite players. Because I think...
And he did it in a 3X button-down shirt carrying his wife's leftovers into the arena.
Right.
Coughing his ass off.
Is Nikola Jokic the Dirk of this generation?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Got the little fadeaway with the one leg.
I would say he's
rebounds. Well, he rebounds better, but
that's a good question. I would say he's more
You
Mm.
gonna say Tim Duncan?
I think a mix of those two.
Because he has the mindset of Tim Duncan. I think like come to work, go home,
Yeah,
and then he has the skill set more of like offensively of Dirk, but then that passing ability from Arvydas Sabonis that to next level. So he's like the combination of those guys. Like his
I
fundamentals
would
sound,
say,
his fucking floaters. It's like if he
yeah.
gets it up to the basket, is going in.
The only thing that he has is that I would say I would lean more towards Dirk
Mm.
than the other two, only because of his lack of on ball defense.
Yeah, understandable.
I would say I would lean more towards Dirk, but
But what I will say is that
I would say he plays more so on the perimeter. He plays better on the perimeter, not even better, but just as good on the perimeter as he does inside, which Sabonis and Tim Duncan did not.
understandable. I mean, what I will say, as much as I have talked about Jokic's defense, but in the finals,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have the defense of a Rudy Gobert or like Hassan Whiteside. He's not a shot blocker. He's not really even like a rim protector in a way. He has that kind of Marc Gasol defense where like he just uses his body.
He bothers shots.
He just bothers you.
Yeah,
And like I remember when we were playing against this year, we were playing against the Nuggets this year, and Joel, and it was like, dog, why isn't Joel just like destroying him? And like
he's too big.
When Joel posted him up, he had the most problem. But when Joel faced him up, that's when
Yeah,
because like he can't move with Joel. But when
yeah,
you are posting him up and you're trying to get through that body, it's like you guys are equal. So you're
yeah,
both end up going nowhere.
yep,
But when he faced him up and he used the speed, that's when Joel he really got him. And like I
yeah.
was like, damn, like I never really realized that, and I realized that more when I watched him in the finals of like him going against Bam, and Bam is also he's not really a shooter, he's more so a guy that's going to get to the rim. He's developing that mid range, but like I seen him like Bam couldn't do nothing, he couldn't post up. The Jokic took him out the game not by playing elite defense, just by being there and being a big body. And I think that as much as I talk about his defense and or lack thereof defense, he has that type of I step it up when I need to. Kind of like remember how like LeBron was? We were like, oh, LeBron's not going to play defense until
Yeah.
playoffs. Like that's the type of defense Jokic has, and and it was really
Whenever we
crazy
talk
seeing that.
about whenever we talk about defense, you got to remember, like anybody who's listening to this, the reason why you can't really teach defense is because it's all effort.
Yeah,
Like a lot, the great players step it up when they have to. And the thing that I always point to whenever like I talk about this is that one play in 2016 towards the end of the game
are we talking
when
about
Kevin
Kevin
Love,
Love?
yeah,
Yeah,
when
Kevin
Kevin
Love
Love
locked
gets
up Steph Curry.
switched
Yeah,
out onto Steph Curry and he locked Steph the fuck up.
talking
Like
about
Kevin
effort
Love, who hasn't been known as a great defender,
ever,
particularly on smaller, quicker
ever
guards the like best at the time,
best.
and to a degree still best guard in the league, particularly on the perimeter, and shut him down.
Right.
Like Steph did not get a good shot off at all.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things like
That's one of his
when they have
career
to, the greats pick it
highlights.
up.
That's
It
one of his
is.
career highlights
It
of him
is.
locking
And it
down
should
Steph.
be.
And it was like
Like
he needed
LeBron, one
that.
of LeBron's career highlights is the block on Iguodala. Like defense matters.
It does.
So what do you think now? Since we're going to go on a bit of a tangent here,
Hell yeah. First episode,
Ryan.
we could do that.
Yeah. So there's a comedian named Ryan Davis who roasted the fuck out of Kevin Durant
Mm-hmm.
because Ryan essentially said defense wins championships, and Kevin Durant responded saying this guy doesn't know basketball. Defense doesn't win championships. Offense wins championships. And Ryan, responded basically like trolling the fuck out of Kevin. Like he talked about his hair. Like it was a lot. It was hilarious. But my argument to this has always been offense wins games, defense wins championships.
100%.
You cannot point to a single championship winning team that by the end and at least in the playoffs, did not have a top 6 defense in the league.
Well, the Nuggets are the anomaly.
No,
They
the
didn't
Nuggets.
have a top 10 defense.
No. In the playoffs, yes, they did.
I mean, they had a top 10 defense in the finals because there was only 2 teams in the finals.
Well, no. I'm talking about of all the teams that make the playoffs. Here, I can look it up. 20.
I feel like
20.
the Nuggets are the anomaly because they were just simply better than every team, and they didn't even really need to play defense. Only time I really seen them play defense was in the finals.
But that's also not even true because remember what elevated them? Aaron Gordon going and getting a good defender.
No, 100%. They're not known as a defensive team. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they don't have defensive players. Like KCP is also one of those people. Jamal Murray stepped it up. Who am I forgetting? Bruce Brown off the bench. They had it wasn't him. Christian Brown off the bench as well. Like they had guys who stepped it up defensively. Jeff Green too, who stepped it up defensively. They had good defensive guys, but they weren't known as a defensive team until they started getting into it in the finals. That's when they really put their defense because like think about it. They played the Timberwolves. They played I forget who else did they play in the middle. They played the Lakers, who the Lakers were put together that season, and also were like the 7th seed, played a playing game, and then the Miami Heat, who also was a. It's crazy to think the Miami Heat made the finals after losing a playing game, and went into elimination and went all the way to the finals. That's just Coach Spo and that organization. They just put together some great teams.
So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the playoffs, the 2023 NBA playoffs, the Denver Nuggets had the 8th highest defensive rating. No, I'm sorry, hold on. This isn't organized right. Here we go. Move, advertisement. The Denver Nuggets had the...
Hold up, Sean.
1,
Kendrick
2,
Perkins.
3, 4,
Kendrick
5,
Perkins
7.
just said out his mouth, and this is a quote: "If I'm the 76ers, I shut down Joel Embiid for this entire season." Who the fuck? We are not making the playoffs if we shut him down for the entire season.
All right, so the Nuggets had the 10th. No, wait, did I miscount? I miscounted. 13th highest defensive rating for 2022-2023. Okay? 7th was the Boston Celtics. So, of the 16 teams that make the playoffs, the Nuggets remember, this is throughout the entire playoffs. This is from first round to the finals. Neither team, I should say, were last, and both teams ended with a defensive rating of at least 113, which would put Denver, if they stayed at 113 the entire playoffs, that would put them at like 7th or 8th.
Okay. All right.
So, you never, like, and this is the point too, like, of all the teams in the league, if I was to take out playoffs, what is that?
What is what?
I heard, was that my...
Probably mine. I just put my phone down.
Oh, okay. But of all the teams in the league, defensive rating, Denver is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 for the year. So they're still in the top half of defensive rating of the entire league for the year.
Middle of the pack.
Well, yeah, but yeah, top half.
Middle of the
how
pack.
The playoffs work. Yeah.
All right, wait. We kind of we went on the tangent.
But anyway, the point was, you don't get a championship without having a good defense. There hasn't been a team to win a championship with a bad defense.
Okay.
Even if they do have incredible offense, i.e., Phoenix Suns, Brooklyn Nets, like Houston Rockets. You know, the list goes on.
All right, let's take it back to Doc Rivers, because that's where this all started.
Yes.
And also we can wrap it up after that because I know you do have to go to work tomorrow.
And also Kendrick Perkins. Yeah, we're not sitting Joel Embiid for the entire season. That just doesn't happen. That's not gonna happen.
It's stupid.
That can't happen. I think he thinks it's like we're this like a NFL season. Like I don't think he realizes how many games we have left.
Right.
Like we could just fall out of the playoffs completely if we do that.
We already fell to the 5th seed. That's how close everybody is.
Yeah.
In the standing, we lost. I mean, we lost multiple games, but like still, we're the 5th seed now. We were just the 3rd seed. We fell down too.
Like we lost 4 games. To be this close to the middle of the season, 4 games should not drop you 3 spots.
Yeah. And then on top of that, well, I mean, we're tied with the Cavs. So if we win the next game, we go back up. No, actually we don't because they have the tiebreaker.
I was gonna say
they have the tiebreaker.
If they win too, then no, we don't.
They have the tiebreaker. Back to Doc Rivers. Back to that, and we can close it off with this. Bucks, you're fucked. And I want to say this in the most respectful way. Let's get back to my point. So when you start seeing Thanasis, whatever his fucking name is, start as your backup center, I just want
not supposed to be in the NBA.
I want to let you know that these are possible. Like I'm not joking. Like what's the guy Robin Lopez? Robin Lopez has not played for you all year. I don't think. Expect to see him more. He loves his vets.
I want to know if Thanasis does start playing and he's trash. What does Giannis do? He's like, hey, maybe you don't play my brother so much.
Right.
Don't trade him. Don't trade him.
I love him.
But don't play him either.
Bro,
it is. Just let him relax.
Let him
just collect his check.
Like, hey, can you guys just give him a little clipboard just to, he's gonna he has ADHD.
Do we have a player development coach that can work with him? Or maybe just like somebody
give him a puzzle.
To say that about your older brother is crazy. Since somebody give him, if the next Bucks game, I look over and this nigga Thanasis is on the bench doing a puzzle, bro. You can't stay in the league after that.
Listen,
you can't.
I just want to warn you.
Udonis Haslem couldn't even have gotten away with that.
Right. Bucks fans, just want to warn you. You already lost your first game with Doc. I believe that was against the Nuggets, and he sold because his fucking play calling's poor. Expect to see Giannis shoot more threes. Expect to never, Beauchamp. I think you got like Livingston and you got like AJ Green. Some of these young guys. Expect to never see them. They're dead. They're dead to your team, unless they start averaging, or unless your starting point guard sits out for a year. Then he has no choice but to play them. Robin Lopez is about to get backup center minutes. Get ready. But Robin Lopez or Thanasis, whoever was your backup center before, he's dead. He's dead to Doc. Doc doesn't care. Doc played. We're only speaking for experience. He played DeAndre Jordan over Paul Reed. DeAndre Jordan, who has no knees, or ankles, or ACLs. He played him. And I know DeAndre Jordan can still get up. He still can get a highlight here and there. Yeah. But like here and there.
Him and Reggie Jackson put on a show last year.
No, it was this year.
It was?
It was this season. Yep.
Oh, yes, it was.
This season. Yep. I mean, technically last year, but like still this season.
Yeah.
He can still get up. He's still good. He could jump.
Here's my thing. If you can have DeAndre Jordan, you should probably, if you're okay with DeAndre Jordan, you should go get Dwight Howard. If you're okay with having DeAndre Jordan, you should probably just go get Dwight Howard, because at least one of them is Dwight Howard, and the other is just DeAndre Jordan.
I don't know. I don't know if people want Dwight Howard.
Yeah, right I get it. Locker room potential issues. I get
Not
it.
even that.
But in terms of game,
he might go to jail. We're like
yeah.
removing this.
No, I get it. But I'm saying, like, in terms of game, if you're going to give any minutes you would be willing to give to DeAndre Jordan, you'd probably be better off giving to Dwight Howard. That's all I'm saying.
No, because I
in terms of
remember
playing,
Dwight Howard being a foul monster.
Coming off the bench, sure, yeah, but I mean, just use them.
Okay, but this is the thing: you take your center, and then you put in Dwight Howard, and now the other team is in a bonus, and then Dwight Howard, the foul monster, is gonna you went to the bench up 10, and now it's a fucking 3-point game because Dwight Howard like just wants to foul. He loves.
It's a 3-point game, and only 2 minutes have passed. What happened?
Right. Because he loved to grab men, and I this is a perfect time. It's perfect time because it is almost 10. It's perfect time to end it here. First episode, very chaotic. Expect more of this.
Yep,
a whole bunch of more. We're gonna be more organized in the past. Oh my god, we're gonna be more organized in the.
I think we were more organized in the past. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. We're gonna be more organized, more topic points. But this first episode, we really wanted to get it out.
Did you say more topic points?
Yeah, more topic points. Is that?
No, bro. You say topics or talking points?
Topic points, like I said.
All right, fuck it. Topic points. Put it on a t-shirt.
Topic points. That's. I had a okay. This is just in behind the scenes talk. So I created the logo of this podcast. I wasn't supposed
to. Great, y'all.
I did cool. Stressed out about this shit. I created
it looked good. Tell them it looks good, everyone. Say it in the comments.
Don't. All right. I created this
and
logo.
say it like it's hat.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In creating this logo, I was very like thoughtful on how I made the old logos and how I can market this one. And this logo is way more marketable than all of the other ones. Like you can just put that on the hat and then like, oh shit, this is cool.
Yep.
And
very merchandisable.
Very merchandisable. I don't know if that's a word, but fuck it, we made it merchandisable. Put it on the
shirt. If topic points is,
you just making words at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else you want to say?
We're happy to have you guys here. Thank you for tuning in. This is the beginning of a new chapter for the two of us, and we're very excited, and we're happy that we can bring you guys along for the ride.
Oh yeah. Follow us. If you're listening.
Yes.
Follow us on YouTube.
Yes.
If you are on YouTube, follow us on podcast platforms. I don't care if you even watch it. Just go there. Give us 5 stars or 4 stars. Anything lower than that, I hate you. Go follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Why are you shaking your head? Anything lower than that is crazy. Like, why would you do that?
You're right. What's the point of reviewing at that point?
Right. Why just like leave it blank?
I feel like a review should be either 5 or 1 stars. Because if it's anything in between, you just had an adequate enough experience. There's no point in even documenting it.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
3.5. 5.
Sure.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Check Rock Pod at Check Rock Pod. I'm sorry, I just made this, so it's like everything's everywhere. Follow Sean on Instagram at the Mad King 1. If you're watching it, it's right under his face. Sean, point down. Point down. Yeah, it's right there. And you can follow me anywhere. Follow me all the time. Follow me into this room. Okay, thank you for watching.
I follow Marquise to work.
Yeah.
Well, actually, technically, he follows me because I get there first.
Okay, Sean. All right. Too much.
I clock in before he does.
Too much information.
Work from 6 to 2:30.
Good night. Check Rock.